we're supposed to stand together.
I appreciate that a lot.
Even if it's just for a moment, it is nice. Trust me, I hate being sweaty more than anyone. Yeah. And this is sitting on that.
And so you just charge the battery?
It's a USB-C on the back, and then it also has like actual AC functions.
The energy so there. Yeah.
I can show you mine. You ready yet? Well, Friday was the only
I know downtown, but other than that.
You ready? All right. All right. Hold on, give a minute.
It's not bright enough.
You can go to your secondary or something.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Dr. John Greer, and I practice medicine for over 40 years, primarily in Tennessee. I'm here with other healthcare providers to urge Governor Lee to suspend executions in Tennessee until the Department of Correction can make meaningful improvements to the execution protocol. As a group, we do not take a position on capital punishment, but we are here due to physician involvement in an attempted and botched execution on May 21st. The current protocol calls for central line placement if a vein in an arm or leg cannot be accessed. Placing a central line is not just sticking a needle in a person's arm. To place a central line, one must access the subclavian vein, which is a large vessel above the heart. It should only be done by someone with specific training who performs the procedure routinely. It requires local anesthetics and pain, and is fraught with risks, including a collapsed lung and bleeding. Medical ethics prohibits the participation of doctors in executions. My colleague Rob Quinn, who is here with us today, will address this concern.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Robert Quinn, and I also practiced in the Nashville area for the last 40 years plus. As Dr. Greer noted, physicians are not only bound by the Hippocratic Oath to, quote, first do no harm, but are also prohibited from participating in executions by the American Medical Association. The AMA is clear about this prohibition, stating on its website, an individual's opinion on capital punishment is the personal, moral decision of the individual. However, as a member of a profession dedicated to preserving life, when there is hope of doing so, a physician must not participate in a legally authorized execution. Despite this, Tennessee's protocol requires physicians and other unidentified healthcare professionals to participate in executions. This means that the healthcare professionals who agree to take part in Tennessee's executions are those willing to set aside their professional ethics. The problems that we have seen, such as in Mr. Carruthers' case, are the predictable result of this reality. If Tennessee is going to continue with executions, it must find a way to do so that is humane, does not cause unnecessary pain and suffering to the person being executed and must not inflict trauma on the TVOC staff who are participating until the TVOC demonstrates that it has made the significant reforms needed to ensure these problems do not continue. We respectfully ask Governor Lee to put a halt to executions in Tennessee to ensure that Tennessee is acting responsibly and in a manner that the public can trust. Thank you, and we'll field questions if you have any.
This may sound like an obvious or silly question, but how important is the Hippocratic Oath within practicing medicine?
That's a great question. It is part of the fabric of being a physician. So you dedicate the essence of what you do to preserving life. So it's not only an oath that you take, but it becomes a part of your practice style.
Is there any safe way, I mean, you guys know of any safe way to do it? I mean, they're running out, it looks like they're running out of options.
Well, I'm not certain we're going to discuss the safety of executions. And Tennessee has a default position, the elected chair, but we're here mainly to discuss physician participation, and it should not occur. You mentioned the Hippocratic Oath. Nurses and doctors, we're committed to providing care and comfort to patients.
There has been some description of what happened in the last execution, or attempted execution of Mr. Carruthers, the inability to place these lines, and they've identified the doctor that was participating. Do you think that's unusual for a state to identify a medical professional that is involved in this execution?
Our purpose here today is not to call out an individual, but to ask for political and legislative views to enter the arena and to fix what looks like a broken process.
And I know that there are other groups that have made similar calls. For example, Tennessee State Faith Leaders made a similar plea to Governor Lee to pause these executions. So far, it doesn't seem like it's elicited much of a response. So I guess, how do you feel about that? What are you hoping for, and do you think that this might be effective in getting a response?
I'm not certain what our stance will do. I think we feel strongly that there's too much secrecy, there's lack of transparency about the execution process. So we want it to be revealed and reviewed.
Can someone who's not a doctor or nurse perform execution, you think, properly, I guess?
You asked for a solution. Is there a solution? Is there a better way? Is there a right way? So possibly that could involve somebody who's not a medical professional, but again, it would start from a legislative initiative to say, let's address this issue, as you asked, and then get into the details, the mechanics, to try to come up with a safer and successful procedure.
There's a concept called the Hippocratic paradox. To do this well, you need somebody who's well-trained and perhaps in the medical profession, but we forbid that from occurring. So there's a paradox. We do not want to participate and should not participate in legally authorized executions.
What if they were retired, or they had quit, or they just weren't back in the medical field anymore and they decided to help?
I mean, there are people that will be involved who've got medical backgrounds, and I'm not certain retirement is a reason to do it. I'm retired, he's not. But our stance is that if you are a healthcare professional, that's nurse, pharmacist, physician, that you should not be involved in this process.
I guess in your professional opinion, is placing a central line and the incident that happened in this case, is that something that is common? Is it a fluke? Like, I guess how risky is that in a general sense?
My guess is it's rarely done, and it's highly risky unless you're doing them routinely. And I cannot imagine that there would be someone who's doing these routinely who would be involved in this procedure. So I don't see that happening, but it's apparently in the Tennessee rules that it's an option that if you can't find a vein in your arm or leg. I'm sure Mr. Carruthers was stuck multiple times and they resorted to this and it failed.
Last question?
You know, is there some urgency for coming out now? Why now do you want to sort of speak to this issue? And were these feelings that, you know, that wanting to speak out was a part for you before?
The issue has been there long-term from a professional, from a physician standpoint. The issue with Tony Carruthers was an opportunity, prompted, and very, very, very sad that would have to prompt it, but that was an impetus to act, to speak out.
Yes, I think we've been concerned about the what I call the medicalization of execution by using lethal drugs. And there's so much secrecy about where the drugs come from, how do you get them? Because many pharmaceutical groups say, we're not sending those drugs. So there's too much secrecy. So our stance is physicians should not be involved, but this is a long-standing concern. And as Dr. Quinn mentioned, we see this as an opportunity to point out that physicians are against our participation in executions. And it was a botched central line placement that wanted us to come forward.
Thank you.
Actually, can I get you to say and spell your names one more time, your positions?
John P. like in Paul Greer, Greer.
And Robert S. Quinn, Quinn.
How would you like us to put your positions?
Doctor.
Titles.
Your titles.
MD.
MD.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.